Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving straight into, well, a snapshot of Nigeria and the world.
Yeah, pulled from the headlines of April 12th, 2025.
Exactly. It's a really fascinating mix. We've got security, economy, global stuff, you name it.
And our mission really is to pull out the most significant bits for you.
Right. The interesting stuff, the things that maybe make you go, huh, give you that in-the-know feeling, maybe a few surprises.
It's amazing how much happens in one day, isn't it?
Hmm.
You look at these headlines side by side.
Totally. Military actions, oil figures, social issues.
Fake orphanages, even a pig kidney transplant.
It's all over the place.
And we're here to try and make sense of it, find those threads.
Okay, let's jump right in. Nigeria first, security, governance, that sort of thing.
All right, first up, a big one. Military airstrike kills top ISWAP commander, 100 others in Katsina.
Wow. That's a significant report. Straight away brings those security challenges front and center.
Definitely. If those numbers are accurate, that's a major blow to ISWAP in that region. It really is a stark reminder, isn't it? Okay, switching gears now. Something with huge potential for the future.
The economy.
Yeah. Crude oil reserves hit 37 billionaires. Gas soars to 210.54 TCF in UPRC.
Those are substantial figures from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission.
Huge. And what you, the listener, might want to consider is just the sheer scale,
Yeah.
what that means for revenue, for development down the line.
Absolutely. These figures are critical for long-term planning, could attract more investment into the energy sector.
And a strong energy sector has ripple effects, right,
Yeah.
across the whole economy.
Precisely. It connects to so many other parts.
Speaking of connections and development, FG to launch 77,400 housing units across 774 LGAs.
That's ambitious, nationwide.
One for every LGA.
Yep.
Think about the logistics, but also the potential impact on housing, jobs, everywhere.
Big infrastructure projects like this can bring massive benefits. Homes, local economies stimulated.
But the key is always execution, isn't it? Making sure they actually reach the people who need them.
Always the challenge. Now, a more concerning headline. FG tracks 1,277 persons as Lassa fever kills 122.
Yeah, that highlights a persistent public health threat. The fact they're tracking that many shows how seriously they're taking this outbreak.
Needs a coordinated response, right? Surveillance, treatment, prevention.
And that death toll compared to the case number.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes you wonder, about healthcare access, maybe the strain itself.
Something for us all to keep an eye on. Okay, maybe a glimmer of positive economic news. Naira appreciates $1,625 in the parallel market.
Any strengthening is generally welcome news.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that trend holds and what's actually driving it.
Currency is complex, isn't it?
Yeah.
Supply, demand, policy, global sentiment, so many factors.
True. Appreciation helps with import costs, maybe inflation.
But long-term stability is the real goal.
Right. Now for a bit of local color. Aluma Rock to close for renovation April 14, Ogun Gugust.
Ah, Alumo Rock. Important historical site, tourist spot.
Yeah. So this closure for renovation suggests they're investing in preserving it, maybe enhancing it.
Good to see. Investing in heritage sites boosts tourism, helps local economies too.
Staying local. Lagos holds local government polls on July 12th.
Important for grassroots governance. Gives people a voice in their own communities.
Directly impacts local services, policies.
Local government is the closest level to the people, so yeah, these elections matter. Voter turnout, candidate platforms, things to watch.
Okay, this next one is deeply troubling. Kaduna alerts on fake orphanage selling children recovers 13.
Just horrific. Highlights the vulnerability of children and the absolute need for oversight. Recovering 13 is good news in a terrible situation, but it shows these awful operations exist, need dismantling. Urgently.
Absolutely. Okay, shifting slightly. Police begin training for 10,000 new recruits Saturday.
More officers, often seen as key for security.
Though effectiveness also depends on, well, training quality, accountability, community relations.
Definitely. Numbers help capacity, but quality training and ethical standards are crucial for public trust.
The federal government also put out a statement. Appointments followed federal character principle, FG insists.
Ah, the federal character principle. Constitutional thing. Aims for representation from all parts of Nigeria.
Right, it's meant to ensure diversity in government posts. Sensitive, but important for unity.
It is. The government stressing this shows commitment, though its actual implementation.
Yeah.
Often debated, let's say.
Yeah. Interesting juxtaposition then. Nigeria's crude oil production dips to 93% of OPEC quota.
So reserves are reportedly up, but current production is slightly below the OPEC target.
Could be technical issues. Market stuff.
Could be various reasons. But meeting those quotas is important for revenue, foreign exchange. A dip impacts the budget.
We also have another health alert. Kaduna, Borno, Kano, 10 others prone to meningitis NIMIT.
That's the Nigerian Meteorological Agency warning. Weather-related risk in quite a few states.
Something for people connected to those areas to be aware of.
Meningitis outbreaks often linked to dry, dusty conditions, common in parts of Nigeria seasonally.
So these early warnings from NIMIT are crucial. Allow for prevention.
Absolutely vital.
Seems like a bit of diplomatic back and forth, too. FG debunks U.S. Embassy post on Nigeria's security situation.
Suggests differing viewpoints on the security challenges, doesn't it?
Yeah. Diplomatic relations often involve navigating these different takes. The government pushing back shows how sensitive security is and wanting to control the narrative.
Understandable.
On a more collaborative front, NOA partners anti-corruption advocate for Nigeria Happens to Me project.
The National Orientation Agency teaming up. Sounds like raising awareness, encouraging citizen involvement against corruption. Affects everyone. Engaging civil society, the public. Essential for transparency and accountability. These partnerships can really help.
Here in the FCT, WIKE sets 2-year deadline for FCT land allottees.
Directive from the minister. Pushing for faster development, stop people just sitting on land.
Could change the Abuja landscape noticeably.
Clear deadlines can work. Ensure land is used productively, contributes to growth.
Okay, turning to academia. Kano Varsity matriculates 578 students, highlights vision, achievement.
Good news for higher education there. New students starting, university showcasing its progress.
Matriculation is a big milestone for students and the uni. Highlighting vision attracts future students, support.
Builds momentum.
And showing support from afar. North America UNN alumni vows to execute projects in alma mater.
Great example of the diaspora giving back. Nigerians abroad supporting education and development at home.
Their contributions, financial or expertise, can be invaluable.
Truly significant.
Now, a policy change affecting travelers. FG imposes 10-year entry bans for visa overstays. $15 daily fine from August 1st.
Stricter enforcement of immigration rules. Clear signal.
Impacts anyone overstaying their visa.
It's a sovereign right, implementing stricter policies. Deters abuse, maintains system integrity. Important for visitors to know these new rules.
And with global trade tensions, Trump tariffs. FG sets up subcommittee to review impact.
Shows the government is watching international trade policies closely. Proactively assessing the fallout for Nigeria.
Could affect everyone indirectly, through the economy.
In this interconnected world, big players' policies ripple outwards. So, yeah, prudent for Nigeria to analyze and plan.
Going back to that meningitis worry, Kaduna, Borno, and Kano being mentioned again in the context of being prone to meningitis.
Really reinforces that initial NIMIT alert. Highlights the specific high-risk regions.
The repetition drives the point home, doesn't it?
Underscores the seriousness in those areas. Need for targeted public health action to prevent wider outbreaks.
Some positive news on community safety. IGP commissions rebuilt. Equipped Ugborikoko police station donated by Tentita.
Public-private partnership example. Community involvement, boosting security infrastructure.
Good to see different groups working together.
Collaboration like that can enhance police resources, improve conditions. Ultimately helps with crime prevention.
Law enforcement efforts continuing elsewhere. NDLEA raids Kano drug havens, detains 22 suspects.
Reflects the ongoing fight against drug trafficking and abuse.
A constant battle.
Raids and arrests are key to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency's work, disrupting supply networks, reducing related crime.
Okay, let's shift to legal matters. Court slams Ogun Monarch with 500-meter libel damage.
Wow, 500 million. A significant judgment. Highlights serious consequences for defamatory statements.
A reminder about the power of words, indeed.
Libel laws protect reputation from false statements. This ruling is a stark reminder of the costs, especially for public figures.
Another big legal headline. You have a case to answer, court tells suspended DCP Abba Kayari others.
Means the legal process against him and the others moves forward.
The judge found enough evidence for them to mount a defense.
Essentially, yes. Sufficient evidence presented to proceed to a full trial. The process continues.
Over in Anambra, native doctors plead not guilty to money ritual charges.
A very sensitive type of alleged crime, often sensationalized, complex beliefs involved.
How does the legal system handle that?
Allegations of ritual killings are taken extremely seriously. Pleading not guilty means it goes to trial. Prosecution presents evidence, defense responds.
Tragically, some closure remains elusive. Another pathologist fails to determine Mobad's cause of death.
So sad. Prolongs the uncertainty and grief around the singer's passing, affected so many people.
When multiple forensic exams are inconclusive, it's incredibly frustrating for the family, the public. Complicates any legal path, too.
Very difficult situation.
And here's a really unusual one that caught my eye. Edo internet fraudster reports to EFCC after repentance.
Turning himself in. Voluntarily.
Seems so. Someone involved in cybercrime deciding to face the music with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
That is rare. Could be genuine remorse, desire to make amends.
Or maybe a strategic legal move.
Possibly. Either way, not something you hear about every day.
Okay, quite a lot there on security and governance. Let's turn now to Nigeria's political and legal landscape. Always dynamic, always interesting for you, the listener, to follow.
Indeed. And this one sits right at that intersection of economics and politics. Economic wars. U.S. envoy meets Tinubu in Paris.
Economic wars. That framing suggests pretty high-stakes talks, doesn't it? Trade, investment, broader policy between Nigeria and the U.S.
Definitely signals significant discussions were happening.
And related to that international dimension, Tinubu spends 59 days in 8 trips to France.
8 trips, 59 days. That frequency and duration makes you wonder about the specific goals, right?
Yeah. What were the objectives? What came out of it?
Heads of state travel get scrutinized. Understanding the aims and outcomes is important to judge the value for the country.
Back home, Shettima and governors honor Yusuf Ali at Ilorin turbaning.
Highlights the continuing role of traditional titles,
Mm-hmm.
and politicians attending shows that blend of traditional and modern power.
It really does. Traditional institutions still hold a lot of social sway. High-ranking leaders attending underlines their relevance.
And respect.
Against that backdrop of global trade tensions we mentioned, U.S.-China tariffs war. Speaker Abbas seeks stronger ties with China.
Interesting. Suggests Nigeria is strategically weighing its partnerships, maybe looking east amidst those U.S.-China issues.
Positioning ourselves in a changing world, basically.
Makes sense. Diversifying partnerships can offer benefits, reduce over-reliance on one power, especially when trade is shifting.
Now, a rather direct quote. You should be worried if Buhari isn't on your side, Ndum tells Tinubu.
Oof. Underscores the political weight former President Buhari still carries. His stance potentially impacts the current administration.
Suggests his support, or lack of it, is still seen as a big factor.
In Nigerian politics, endorsements and alliances matter hugely, and Ndum's comment really highlights that.
Seems there's some disagreement within the legal community, too. NBA divided over Imo acting chief judge's appointment.
And they also criticized the Rivers administrator's undemocratic actions.
So concerns from the Nigerian Bar Association about judicial independence, democratic principles.
It's like it. The NBA plays a vital role upholding the rule of law. Their public statements show commitment to those principles, voicing concerns about potential threats.
Human rights lawyer Femi Falana also weighed in. Falana warns Akpabio against using police in a political dispute.
Important point. Keeping law enforcement neutral out of partisan fights is crucial for trust and fairness.
Yeah, any perception of police being used to settle political scores is damaging for democracy.
Absolutely essential they remain impartial.
On a different note, socio-political commentary. Afinifer honors Adebanjo at his 97th posthumous birthday.
Shows continued respect for prominent figures in our history, even after they're gone. Remembering those who shaped the nation, honoring past leaders, acknowledging contributions. It's part of preserving collective memory, gives context for today's issues.
And seeking justice locally. If Indigenese demand justice for family of slain APC chieftain Adeniji.
Tragic. Underscores the need to investigate politically motivated violence thoroughly, hold perpetrators accountable, essential for peace. Justice for victims, especially with political allegations, is crucial for social harmony. Upholding the rule of law for all.
Now here's news of a potentially significant meeting. Atiku, El-Rufai, Tambuwal, others hold closed-door meeting with Buhari in Kaduna.
Followed by Atiku saying, "Our visit to Buhari, not for coalition talks, Atiku."
Downplaying coalition talk, but a closed-door meeting with those names. Bound to spark speculation, right? Future alignment.
Always. In Nigerian politics, meetings like that involving big names across divides inevitably trigger intense speculation, or whatever the official line is.
Something to watch. Elsewhere, a political event rescheduled. Pro-white Gruba shifts Bayelsa mega rally to April 26th.
Could be logistics. Could be strategic political calculation. Depends on the circumstances.
Timing of rallies is often carefully planned, isn't it? Schedule shifts can hint at underlying strategies or responses.
Definitely. Internal party dynamics also visible. Ondo PDP rejects publicity secretary's resignation.
Suggests they want to keep unity. Resolve whatever issues led to the resignation.
Parties usually try to present a united front. Rejecting a key official's resignation can be a way to manage dissent, project stability.
The Labour Party seems to be facing challenges too. Labour Party DG demands unity as internal crisis deepens.
And also, constituents ask court to nullify Natasha's suspension.
Points to possible factions, legal battles within the party could impact their effectiveness.
Internal conflicts, legal fights,
Uh-huh.
they can be really disruptive, divert resources, damage public image, hurt engagement.
Former President Obasanjo, still active. Obasanjo inaugurates a 46.36-kilometer Obia road.
Shows his continued involvement in development projects across different states.
Not unusual for former leaders to stay engaged. Their presence at inaugurations draws attention, lends support.
And recognition for current leaders. Adeleke Oborevwori, Uzodimma Yusuf Saludo, and others win Vanguard Awards.
Likely acknowledging their work in governance, development in their states, public recognition.
Awards like these can recognize contributions, encourage positive work, shape public perception too.
Looking ahead to Edo state elections, Okpeb Holo promises Edo workers better welfare package.
And relatedly, Edo to announce compensation for lynched hunters Okpeb Holo.
Promises from a candidate highlighting key issues for Edo residents, presumably.
Standard campaign stuff, addressing specific concerns worker welfare, supporting victims to win votes from those groups.
A potential long-term solution proposed, Mutfwang. Ultimate solution to plateau crises lies in state police.
The state police debate continues, a possible way to handle localized security issues better than federal police sometimes can.
It's complex. Proponents say more responsive, local understanding. Opponents worry about funding, standards, political misuse at state level.
A very active debate.
Focusing on basics of governance. Agon Gavor tasks civil servants on improved service delivery.
And prioritize people's welfare, IBIS charges 23 LG administrators.
Directives emphasizing core duties. Serve citizens effectively, put their interests first. A reminder.
Effective public service is crucial. These statements highlight accountability, citizen-centric approach.
Addressing misconduct. River CP removes a DPO, apologizes over assault on journalists.
A response to alleged police misbehavior. Acknowledges importance of press freedom, need for respect.
Holding officers accountable, upholding press freedom, vital for democracy. This response is a positive step.
Definitely. Good to see interstate cooperation, too. Uromi incident, Kano deputy governor commends Edo leaders.
Suggests solidarity, collaboration between states on security challenges affecting multiple regions.
Collaboration, sharing info, and best practices between states. Very beneficial for cross-border issues. Commendations strengthen those ties.
Preparing for potential natural disasters. Flood alert. Lagos is prepared, Commissioner Wahab assures.
With climate change risks increasing, assurance like this is important. Proactive preparedness, communication, being ready. Given Nigeria's vulnerability to flooding, states must prepare. Early warning, response, support systems. Public awareness, too.
Another worrying health update. So Coders records 300 meningitis cases.
Unfortunately confirms that earlier NIMIT warning about risk in northern states. The numbers seem to back it up.
That many cases underscores the urgent need for a strong public health response, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Vaccination campaigns, public awareness on symptoms and prevention, ensuring treatment is available, all vital.
Electoral prep moving ahead in Lagos. LASIK releases LG election timetable, follows the earlier news about the poll date.
Provides concrete details for parties, candidates, voters. Clarity allows everyone to prepare on schedule.
Some apparent communication issues in Rivers State Gov. Miscreants using SSG's office to issue misleading information, says Rivers Guvit.
Raises concerns about official channels, potential for misinformation. Who do you trust?
Ensuring accuracy of government info is critical for public trust. Allegations like that need prompt, transparent handling.
Definitely. Economic concerns voiced locally in Edo. Edo, private school owners protesting 400% tax hike.
400%. That's a massive increase, understandably impacting businesses, leading to protests.
Big tax hikes hit hard. Can mean higher costs for consumers, lead to demands for dialogue, more sustainable solutions.
Some positive local economic news from Lagos, though. Lagos reopens K2 fruit market.
Relief for traders and consumers relying on that hub. Good to see commerce getting back to normal.
Yeah.
Reopening a major market has significant economic, social benefits. restores trade, supports livelihoods, ensures goods are available.
Okay, finally, in our Nigeria section, a cluster of really concerning crime reports. They paint a sobering picture.
Go on.
Cop stabs Akiti man over girlfriend. Gunman sees ransom bearer, free Kaduna pastor.
Oh, dear.
Lagos police hospital exploited us after water tank killed my sleeping sister, victim's brother.
That's awful.
And police using my stolen car for patrol since 2015, 62-year-old machine operator.
Since 2015. Wow.
These individual stories, diverse, but all raise serious questions, don't they? Crime, alleged police misconduct, vulnerability, deeply troubling accounts.
They really are. Deeply disturbing. Raise very serious questions about conduct of some officers, violent crime, citizens' vulnerability, underscores the need for accountability, reform, better protection.
It's truly a lot, just within Nigeria in one day. Okay, let's broaden our view now. Quick look at some global and other news that caught our attention.
Right. Shifting gears. International sports first. Forest joins Juventus in pursuit of Ademola Lookman.
Shows major European club interest in the Nigerian player.
Definitely sought after.
Tech giant news. Google announces new layoffs in Android Chrome Pixel unit.
Reflects ongoing adjustments in the global tech industry. Realignment happening.
A sign of the times in that sector.
Layoffs at major tech firms often signal broader economic trends, strategic shifts as they adapt to markets and priorities.
Medical news. Pig kidney removed from American woman after 4 months.
Highlights progress in xenotransplantation, cross-species organ transplants.
But also the challenges, right? It didn't last indefinitely.
Exactly. 4 months is a milestone, but removal shows complex issues remain. Immune rejection, long-term viability. Still hurdles.
A rather quirky political note from the U.S. Trump replaces Obama portrait with painting of himself.
Symbolic act, wouldn't you say? Reflects those deep partisan divides in U.S. politics. One administration asserting its legacy.
Yeah. Portrait choices in official places often carry symbolic weight. This one's certainly seen by many as illustrating that polarization.
Argentina's economy back in focus. Argentina securing a $20 billion IMF loan.
Continuing efforts to stabilize financially via international borrowing.
IMF loans usually come with conditions, right? Aimed at economic reform, fiscal discipline.
Their impact can be significant, often debated.
And a stark reminder about global economics. Era of free money gone, Akinwumi Adesina tells African nations.
Suggests concessional financing is changing. African countries need to adapt to a new funding reality, implications for all of us.
Yeah, the African Development Bank president emphasizing the evolving landscape, need for sustainable strategies mobilizing domestic resources as easy aid perhaps diminishes.
Okay, time for our Did You Know segment. Today, TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company.
Ah, the chip giant.
Exactly. Do you know they're the world's largest semiconductor foundry? They make the chips powering, well, everything. iPhones, AI supercomputers.
Founded by Morris Chang in '87, MIT, Stanford background.
And ranked atop globally by Forbes. Shows how crucial one company can be to the whole tech ecosystem we rely on.
It's fascinating how pervasive they are, yet sort of behind the scenes. The silent powerhouse. Chang's expertise was clearly key.
And a quick, maybe slightly odd fact for you, isoptrophobia.
Isoptrophobia.
It's the specific, often intense fear of mirrors.
Huh. Interesting. Always fascinating. The range of phobias shows the complexity of the mind.
Time for Today in History. On this day, April 12th, 1961.
Yuri Gagarin.
Yes, became the first human in space. Soviet cosmonaut orbited Earth in Vostok 3KA, the Vostok 1 mission.
The whole flight was only 108 minutes, launch to landing.
Incredible, a monumental moment, changed our view of the cosmos forever.
Absolute watershed event. Ushered in human space exploration, ignited the space race. Amazing how such a brief flight had such a lasting impact. Science, tech, imagination.
And a quote for today, Victor Hugo. Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise.
Timeless. A message of hope, resilience against adversity.
Really resonates, doesn't it? Even in tough times, prospect of renewal, brighter days.
A powerful thought.
Just a couple more quick global items. Delta Airlines posts a 14B band profit.
Shows strong performance in aviation. Robust health.
Significant profit like that reflects high demand for travel, efficient operations probably.
Likely. And for younger listeners, Cowbellpedia quiz for students.
Highlighting initiatives for academic excellence competition.
Good stuff. Academic competitions foster love of learning, inspire students.
And finally, finance. Wema Bank opens N150 billion rights issue, part of their recapitalization.
Strengthening their financial base for growth. A rights issue lets existing shareholders buy new shares, helps the bank raise capital.
Common strategy for banks, right? Expanding, investing, meeting regulations.
Exactly. Raises capital for various needs. Important move.
Well, there you have it. A real deep dive into just one day, April 12th, 2025. It's amazing, the sheer volume and diversity. Critical security here, economic shifts.
Right alongside global tech updates. Cutting-edge medical science like that pig kidney story.
And when you put the big events like those reported ice swap casualties or the oil reserve jump next to the personal, often troubling stories,
Like the police misconduct allegations or the uncertainty around Mobad's death.
you really get a sense of the complex world we're in, multifaceted.
Absolutely. And who knew about isopterophobia or the global reach of TSMC?
Shows how interconnected everything is, often in unseen ways.
Exactly. So as you've listened to this snapshot, we want to leave you, our listener, with a thought.
Yeah. Considering all these headlines, what underlying trends do you see? Any less obvious connections?
What larger stories might these seemingly separate events be hinting at?
We encourage you. Think about how these things, local governance, global economics, personal stories might intersect, how they might shape the future.
It's often in those connections that deeper understanding lies. Something to mull over.